game in the dark. I was barely 14 at the time. To blow off some steam after our final exams, my 3 friends, Chris, Matt, and Keith, and I decided to do something a little different over the weekend. Keith was new to our neighborhood, but he had quickly become part of our group. On Saturday night, my parents went out to a dinner party, leaving our huge house completely empty. Suddenly, Keith pitched an idea. "Hey, let's turn off all the lights and play hide and seek. Playing in a pitch-black house is on a whole other level." We were totally on board. Every light in the house was flipped off. In the pitch darkness, the only sound was our breathing. The dragging sound. As the seeker, I started looking for everyone. I checked the downstairs and headed up to the second floor. I had left the guest room door slightly ajar myself, but in the dark, I saw that it was shut tight. As I stepped up to the door, I heard a bizarre sound coming from inside. It sounded like a heavy sack or a dead body was being dragged across the floor. I whispered, "Chris, Matt, are you guys in there?" No answer. Just that dragging sound getting louder, moving right up to the door. Goosebumps erupted all over my arms. I bolted down the stairs. Just then, the back door slammed open and then shut with a massive bang. Terrified, I didn't wait around for another second. I bolted out the back door and ran into the yard. There, I found Chris and Matt shivering with fear. They claimed they had just seen a tall, dark silhouette standing dead still on the upstairs balcony. But where was Keith? We yelled his name in every direction, but there was no sign of him. He had vanished into thin air. The shortcut past Eden Hill. The 3 of us abandoned the house and made a run for Chris's place. Our shortcut took us right past Eden Hill School. Normally, this street had a decent amount of traffic, but tonight, at midnight, it was as dead and silent as a graveyard. As we walked, we suddenly got the feeling someone was limping along right behind us. Clack, clack, clack. We froze and looked back. Standing under the foggy glow of a streetlight was a woman. She wore filthy, torn clothes. Her hair was a tangled mess, and the most horrifying part, her hands and legs were bent backward at unnatural angles. The woman hobbled toward us and asked in a strange, raspy voice, "Have you seen my little girl? You were just playing with her." We were practically paralyzed with fear, unable to speak. Somehow I managed to point a trembling finger toward a distant, dark alley. Without another word, she limped off on those twisted legs toward the alleyway. The moment she was out of sight, we ran for our lives. Just then, a heart-stopping, inhuman shriek echoes from the distance. The piercing scream felt like it would shatter my eardrums, and pure terror took over as my vision faded to black. I passed out cold right there in the field. The horrifying truth. When I finally came to, I found myself in a bed at Chris's house. Chris's dad was applying a cold compress to my forehead. Once I felt a little better, I asked, "Who was that woman?" Chris's dad let out a heavy sigh and said, "What you boys ran into last night wasn't human." He then told us the real story. It went back to 1998. A woman named Agatha had a 10-year-old daughter who went to that very school, Eden Hill. One day while playing hide-and-seek on the school grounds with her friends, the little girl died in a tragic accident. Agatha couldn't bear the grief of losing her child and passed away just a few days later. But ever since then, Agatha's restless spirit wanders the school and the surrounding streets late at night, searching for her lost daughter. If anyone plays hide-and-seek in that area at night, she assumes her little girl is the one playing. Hearing the story made our blood run cold, but the biggest shock was yet to come. I looked at Chris's dad and asked, "Uncle, what about Keith? The guy who was playing with us. Is he okay? Where is he?" Chris's dad looked at us totally bewildered. "Keith? What Keith? There was nobody else with you boys. And that area behind the house you're talking about, there isn't any field or a place for a new kid to live. Ever since that accident in 1998, there's just been an old boarded-up well tied off with ropes." The 3 of us stared at each other in pure horror. It suddenly dawned on us, Keith was the one who came up with the idea to play hide-and-seek in the dark in the first place, and he was the one who led us toward Eden Hill School.
So, who was Keith? Was he the ghost of Agatha's lost daughter, trying to drag us into her mother's game of restless spirits? We still don't know the answer to this day, but ever since that night, we've sworn off the dark and hide and seek forever.